What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Wednesday, July 13th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So the stud that I like on the slate is Joe Musgrove. He's got a nice pitching advantage here over the Colorado Rockies. Joe Musgrove pitching his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .576 OPS versus righties. He's facing 7 righties here tonight, and on top of that, the Rockies have only hit 14 of his last 64 pitches. That's a .219 batting average and a pretty decent sample size. So Joe Musgrove is $10,400 FanDuel salary, $800 less on DraftKings, averaging 42 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 2.09. Record is 8-2, pitching an average of 96 pitches per game. So I like Joe Musgrove here versus the Colorado Rockies. Now for a lower salary pitcher, a high risk, high reward pitcher, I like Justin Steele. He's pitching against a low salary batting team, the Baltimore Orioles. Justin Steele giving up a .745 OPS versus righties, facing 5 righties. Now there's no at-bats no pitches versus the Orioles yet. Justin Steele is only $7,600 FanDuel salary. He is $1,600 more on DraftKings, averaging 24 fantasy points per game on the season, but he's been on fire, scoring 48, 36, and 26 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 4.13. Record is 3-5, pitching an average of 82 pitches per game. So I like Justin Steele on FanDuel here versus the Baltimore Orioles. Now, if you want to go with a lower salary pitcher on DraftKings, you could go with a guy like Jon Gray. Even though he doesn't have great pitcher versus batter history here, he's only thrown 31 pitches. They've hit 11 of 31. That's a .355 batting average, which isn't great, but it is a somewhat small sample size. And outside of that, he's $9,000 FanDuel salary, but he's $1,300 less on DraftKings. So I think I prefer Jon Gray on DraftKings and Justin Steele on FanDuel. Now, Jon Gray is averaging 31 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 37, 29, and 52 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 4.03. Record is 5-4, pitching an average of 90 pitches per game. So I like Jon Gray on DraftKings here versus the Oakland Athletics. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Here's a value play. I like Seby Zavala. He's got a 20% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Aaron Savall. Seby Zavala batting 20% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .747 OPS versus righties. Aaron Savall, he's giving up a .799 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Savall yet. Seby Zavala, only $2,700 FanDuel salary. He's $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .313, so I like Seby Zavala here versus Aaron Savall. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, now another value play that I like is Jake Lamb with a 36% batting advantage over Adam Wainwright. Jake Lamb batting 39% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .854 OPS versus righties. Adam Wainwright is giving up a .648 OPS versus lefties. But I like this pick because Jake Lamb is 3 for 8, 375 batting average, and a .833 OPS versus Wainwright. And he's only $2,200 FanDuel salary, 100 more on DraftKings, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .250. So I like Jake Lamb here versus Adam Wainwright. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Christopher Morel. He's got a 53% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Spencer Watkins. Christopher Morel batting 29% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .884 OPS versus righties. Spencer Watkins, he's pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 25% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a .959 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Watkins yet. Christopher Morel is $3,300 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .266. So I like Christopher Morel here versus Spencer Watkins. Now I also like Gleyber Torres. He has a 44% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Mike Minor. Gleyber Torres batting 19% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .869 OPS versus lefties. Mike Minor pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 25% worse than his other pitches. Now, Gleyber Torres is 0 for 5 versus Minor, but I love the splits here, and he's $3,000 FanDuel salary, 1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's been on fire, scoring 24, 6, 22, 15, and 15 fantasy points in the last 5 games. He has a batting average of .275, so I like Gleyber Torres here versus Mike Minor. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the third base position? Here's a stud pick that I like. Take a look at Manny Machado. He's batting against the low salary pitcher Chad Kuhl. Manny Machado batting a .863 OPS versus righties. Chad Kuhl giving up a .685 OPS versus righties. Now, Manny Machado is 3 for 8. It's a .375 batting average and a 1.250 OPS versus Kuhl. He's $4,500 FanDuel salary, 1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .305, And Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. 10.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Manny Machado here versus Chad Kuhl. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Nico Hoerner. He's got a 30% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Spencer Watkins. Nico Hoerner batting 5% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .780 OPS versus righties. Spencer Watkins pitching 25% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .959 OPS versus righties. So he does pitch his worst ball versus righty batters. No at-bats versus Watkins yet. I like this pick because Nico Hoerner, only $2,700 FanDuel salary. He's $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. He has a batting average of .305. So I like Nico Hoerner here versus Spencer Watkins. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. A couple of home run hitters on the slate that are in good spots. Aaron Judge and Mookie Betts. Looks like Giancarlo Stanton also in a good spot here, so take your pick between those guys. But an outfielder that I like, a lower salary, this is a value play. Take a look at Nomar Mazara. He's got a 32% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher, Chad Kuhl. Nomar Mazara batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .709 OPS versus righties. Chad Kuhl, he is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 19% worse than his pitch to righties, giving up a .848 OPS versus lefties. Now Nomar Mazara is 2 for 3 with a 1.334 OPS versus Kuhl. Only $2,900 FanDuel salary, and he's $800 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. Averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. And he has a batting average of .316. So I like Nomar Mazara here versus Chad Kuhl.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.